tonight, so that's amazing. We like to start our nights off with showing off things that we are making or have made or are working on, or something that we've totally failed at and want to warn everybody. There was a sign-up sheet that went around. If you missed it and you want to show your thing, just let me know, or you can catch us next week. But first on our list tonight, we have David Brown with, I can't pronounce this word, Enogian tools. Oh, and if you want to show your thing off, not behind the podium, you should stand on this side of the podium, apparently.
I'm going to see if I can show some pictures here first. Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with this person, but it's John D. The mic's not on?
Yeah, you have to.
Okay, you really have to get up there. Okay. This person is John D. I have an interest in him. He was a 15th. I thought you said stand over there. No. Okay. All right. Okay. This is John D. He's a Renaissance magician and scientist, alchemist, astronomer, chemist, a polymath. I have an interest in him from a variety of kind of angles. One of them is encryption, which he's now known as a cryptographer. Some people say he was the prototype for James Bond's 007 character because he was a spy for Queen Elizabeth. And he did carry messages using some secret script that he created and some tables. And some of what I did was recreate some of those. So I read this book recently. It's a really good book about John Dee's influence on the creation of even the idea of the British Empire, if you have more interest in learning more about him. I started reading this book by Juan Milo Duquette that actually follows some of Dee's experiments in what seemed to be angelic magic, which was trying to talk to angels. You might say that his board is kind of the prototype for Ouija boards, I guess, but what he was actually doing with those boards is now kind of open for contention. A lot of the things that look like they were spirit magic in the past, people have come to know that what he was really doing was encrypting things in some of this text, and only somebody who was kind of keyed into some of the philosophical concepts could even decrypt or even understand that there was an encrypted message in that. That's called stenography, which is like hiding a message in plain sight or in another thing that looks like something else. So that's some of the background for why I was interested in this. Sorry about that. Okay, so what I did, this book by Duquette shows how to build the tools. So I'm a programmer. So what I used was, some of these are based on tables and they're generated, but you would have to do them by hand. I used a language called processing that's really easy language to make visual things with. And so I took those tables and generated some things, and I'll show a few of the things. Let's see. This is one of his tools, which you may not be able to see that real well there, but this is called the, I don't know how to zoom that out, but this was one that was partially his creation and partially a creation of people before him, but it's called the Sigillum de Amet, and that's the sigillum of the living God. And basically this is a constellation map. I mean, people didn't really understand what he was trying to do with this, but all of the tools are basically building up a cosmological model that mirrors the Bible, because he's trying to talk to angels. So this was the sigillum. I took that, generated these files using processing, the SVGs. I decided to try to make a three-dimensional version of that because it really is constellation. So the top of it's supposed to be the throne of God. So This was a prototype. I ended up making a better one of those. Those I thought were too thick. So I ended up, this was the completed one, which I didn't really bring. But I used thinner material, and this one, which I'll pass around, 2 of the layers are still connected. There's only 6 layers in that. There's supposed to be 7. This diagram was another one that basically Dee's partner in crime, Edward Kelly, this came to him in a vision, and it was basically a vision of what was in Revelation, the watchtowers, the elders around the throne, and again, one of the tools there. This is another one. This is the lamen that the person was supposed to wear, and I guess that kind of mirrors the high priest in the temple would wear a breastplate, and so this was the breastplate for those. These were ensigns that were put on the board to represent planets, and or really the 7 candles around the throne, I guess, that were went around the sigil. But what I tried to do was just rebuild as many of those tools as I could, which was, I think, all of them. This is a picture of the sigillum that's in the British Museum. It's on a wax tablet, this one is, but there's a few of his things that still exist. But the final product was this, which was all of the tools, which was the tablet, which these are in a script called Enochian. He didn't call it that, but this was supposedly the angelic script, and there's a kind of a thing about the universal language being handed down to Adam and then to Enoch, and so there's this prophetic tradition that Dee was familiar with. The last thing I'll pass around is just, this is my creation. It's kind of a cube that has the Enochian tablets. This is another symbol that was used later by another group, magical group, and then the bottom part is that same diagram that I showed there. So what I tried to do was just recreate those, and I did most of it. So I think that was it. Do you have any questions or anything? If you do, I'll be outside later. So thank you.
Thanks, that was really cool. Next up, we have Debbie, and she is Master Repurposer.
Sure. Thank you. Hi. So I'm one half of Master Repurposers. We are new here to Knoxville. And so what we do is take all of our art mediums, which will be stained glass, mixed media, and jewelry, and we utilize repurposed materials. So things like bike parts, computer hard drive rings, vintage buttons, glass, anything that is being tossed out or we find interesting, we turn into pieces like these collages and our jewelry. So yeah, if you can identify some of the pieces parts on here, I'd be curious to see if anyone can figure what they are. I don't want to pass it around because it's got sharp edges on it, but I'm happy to have it out. You guys can come take a look at it if there's any questions. Sure. Here, I'll give you that. I'm sorry, what? I'm going to hold it up if that'll help you to see it a little bit. I can walk around with it too.
I don't think it zooms out anymore.
Yeah. Can you guys see okay? So I utilize like kitchen cabinetry and old wood, vintage barnwood, things like that. And this has a little bit of everything on it. So it has springs and hardware, buttons, metal components. So we just have fun utilizing whatever we get our hands on to make into art. Yeah. So we do all sizes and shapes at our studio. We're in Fountain City. Cool.
Thank you. How do you attach the things to the board?
It'll vary.
Different fasteners and hot glue. Cool. Right. Nice. Thank you. Next up, we have Connie, and she's showing a adorable little hair barrette.
Thank you, and I'll do this first. Hopefully that can be seen. No, actually, it's just a picture.
Picture of the
Okay,
video.
I tend to go for finding stupid stuff on YouTube and deciding, that looks interesting. As I had told before, I found a series of videos that were in Russian about making Christmas ornaments. They're made out of craft foam. This is an example of one of them. I have very young grandchildren, 4 and under, not foreign, but 4 and under. So I made a series of them for the grands so they could put them on the tree or take them off the tree and they wouldn't break anything. And if they tore it all to pieces, it's only craft foam. Do you really care as long as they don't put it in their mouth? Well, my strange brain decided, well, if I could do it in craft foam, why not do it in leather? So, oops, sorry, put it where you can actually see it. Why not do it in leather? So I have turned it, it's still in process. I still have to put a few more beads around the back of it and put the barrette back on it. But I ended up making a barrette for one of my daughter-in-laws for Christmas, because you know me, I start Christmas in January and make stuff all year long. And this is going to be one of her Christmas presents. And I'll send it around. You can't hurt it, I promise. But I still have to put the back on it. Okay? But never stop looking, because you never know when you're going to find where you're going to find inspiration. Okay? Thank you.
Thanks, Connie. I think you should teach a sewing class on that kind of stuff, or a foam class. We could do it for adult arting. Can you do it while you're drinking alcohol?
Start using the all at the beginning of the evening.
Okay.
At the end of the evening, yes, you can.
All before shots. Got it. Well, maybe that's a new adult arting idea. Next up, we have Broxton, and he's showing a lightsaber sheath.
Hey there, I'm Broxton. But we usually go to Comic Cons and stuff as like Star Wars characters and stuff, which means lightsabers. But we most of the time when we're walking around, we just let my poor mom just carry everything. So we thought, well, we kind of like samurai moves and stuff, so why not make a cool looking sheath to carry them around in? So, hold on a sec. So, this is what my dad made as work to hold it, so we can like put it on a belt and stuff and walk around. And Billy helped us. Forgot the technical terms, but basically drill out so we would actually fit. And we're working on from there. But yeah, like to.
Very cool. Thank you. What's it made out of? Plastic? Cool. And last up on the list, we have David, and he's showing a wooden thing that I couldn't identify when he walked in the room. You want me to hold it while you're talking? Okay. Actually, could you move it over a little? That's where the camera is, I guess.
Hi, so my name is David. I've been a member for about a month, and this is part of the first project that I made here. So when I first started coming here, I bought a bunch of wood. Where's my albums at? There we go. So the first thing I had to do was, get all the lumber milled up. So that took forever because this is part of a set of 2 end tables and a coffee table. So it was with the the design that I wanted, that my wife wanted, the farmhouse design, I had to cut a lot of just little pieces. So that's kind of all those stacked up on the table. This was this one basically, but before I put the finish on it, so after the stain. And this is, so the coffee table, and then the two end tables back there. And then I still need to put the bottom shelf on the coffee table, but that's, yeah, my first furniture project that I've done. My wife wanted me to make, or she wanted to buy furniture, and I was like, no, that's dumb, I'll just make it. And significantly less expensive. Yeah, because I only spent, it was like $350 in materials, and the ones she wanted to buy were made out of just like pine 2x4s, and they were like $500. And this is cherry that's stained and finished way nicer than the ones she found on Facebook Marketplace. So I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. There's some things that I would do differently. All the angles in the stuff, I just put it on the table and held a square up to it and tried to get the angles matched correctly instead of doing math, because I don't want to do math. And so it turned out really close, but the reason why this bottom shelf isn't on the coffee table yet is because the angled pieces I put on there pulled the bottom legs in by 1/4 inch, so I can't fit that piece in there yet. So it's not, the coffee table's not quite square, but it's really, really close. So it still sits level on the ground. Gotta recut that bottom shelf to fit on there. Yeah. Yes. It was basically my wife showed me pictures of what she wanted, and I just kind of copied it. So it's like a farmhouse style. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was our last show for tonight. Now, usually I talk about upcoming classes. There's none on the calendar right now, which is tragic. They are going to be on the calendar. When are those two Woodworking 101? This Saturday and next Thursday, there are woodworking authorization classes. So if you haven't been authorized for the woodworking area, you should do that. They are $9.96. And if you have questions, you should talk to Brian about that. Other than that, we need people to teach classes now that we're open to the public. So if you have a small project or a larger project that will take a couple hours, and you think you could teach it to people, sign up, talk to somebody on the board, and we'll help you get a class on the calendar. I think it would be super fun. And you make money, and Knox Makers makes money, and everyone's happy, and you get to make things. Sounds like a great time. Can I get a volunteer to empty the trashes tonight? Someone? All right, thank you very much. Yes. I can't hear you, Billy. Oh, right, and we also, yes. Yes, I'm getting to more announcements, so Susanna can make an announcement. Sorry, I forgot to ask you. I don't know. Billy told me to. He's in charge.
Who do we have?
What? They both work? Does this one work? Yes. Oh yeah, I like this one better. We'll just put this one over here. But yeah, so like as many of you probably know, because the board meetings are so crowded, we pay rent to have this space here. And we're paying right now just a little under $4,000 every month for this space. That's, you know, we have our board reports and all that if you're interested in that. However, we only have that rate locked in for the next 4 years, after which it's going to go up. And then 5 years after that, we're kind of in a big question mark right now. And we're also kind of growing through this space. We're going to be moving into the first bay, but we're already having, you know, wheeling and dealing going on for, you know, every square foot in there. And what we would like to do is start fundraising to get a new building. Of course, this is going to take a significant amount of time, which is why we're starting early. Yeah, yeah, it's going to take a while. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for some people to help me get this process started, coming up with ideas for fundraising, helping find other people to volunteer, and, you know, finding ways that we can, you know, start to build a nest egg to prepare for that future, you know, not only so that we can expand, but we can have a space where, you know, we can do what we want. You know, we do what we need, and, you know, we have less layers of permission that we have to go through to put a hole in the wall or, you know, build a little outbuilding or whatever. So to the extent that anyone has any free time, if you could please come talk to me. I need help. I can't do it all by myself, and right now I'm only going to be able to work toward this for the next 6 months. So I'm going to need people who are ready to continue to take this into the future. I don't know. Yes? Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, you can private message me in Mattermost, and I will be posting in the regular, the main, whatever that thread is on the Mattermost. I don't know. I was going to do it today, but the Fire Nation attacked. They keep attacking. This is a problem. If you have ideas to stop the Fire Nation attacking, that would be great. But yeah, I will be available on the Mattermost, and I will be posting about this. And I will probably be back making a similar announcement, asking for more help because it's a big job, and, you know, I'll just kind of keep coming back until people are ready because I need help. It's a big job, you know, too heavy for one person. But that's all.
Thank you. We always like making money here so we can get cool things. You can donate to us. It is not the same as a fundraiser, but we do have ways to donate. If you want to donate directly, you can go to knoxmakers.org/donate. You can even put your favorite area in there to say where your money wants to go. Otherwise, it just goes into the general pot, which is good too, because rent comes from the general pot. And then also we have Amazon Smile. If you, where you can donate, well, Amazon donates a few pennies from each, probably less than a few pennies, a very little percentage from each purchase you make on Amazon to a nonprofit, and we're registered on there. And the last time we got almost $100, and we get payments every quarter. So it really does add up, even if you shop on Amazon only a little bit. And that's all we have for tonight. Andrew has something to say. Andrew says that if you were taking a tour and you didn't get to see the blacksmithing building, you should follow him and harass him till he shows you around. That's all I've got for tonight, unless anyone else has any announcements. No? Okay. Now we're going to go back in the other room and socialize. If you have any questions about membership, or you just came and you haven't gotten a tour yet, come up here and talk to me, and I'll be glad to help you out. Have a great night, everyone.